Hi everyone, it was really nice to spend time with you all in class exploring mindfulness, and your instruction, your home practice for this week is to take 3 minutes each day on your own to practice using the insight timer to be able to gauge the beginning and the ending of that time. And we appreciate that at this very early stage in the semester this is all very new, it's unfamiliar, and the idea of taking a few minutes to just sit and notice the interior and exterior landscape is new. And so we want you to have this experience before we move further along in the semester, because when we do, you'll have more instruction, we'll be doing it more together, you'll learn different approaches. And at its very core, this idea of just sitting and noticing what's arising, and the ways in which that can be comfortable and pleasant and uncomfortable and agitating or seemingly boring and benign are all rather important. And so in many ways you're on the verge of having and moving into a landscape and a way of relating to the moment through the mindfulness practice that will maybe not allow you to experience it right now the way you might without instruction and without insight and elaboration. So this is in many ways a very important week for you to each day take 3 minutes and practice at this very basic level of simply noticing the sensations in the body, the thoughts in the mind, the feelings arising, or whatever it is that your attention is drawn to, and ultimately the ways in which you might find a way to attend to the sensations in the breath and the body as your primary object of attention during the course of those 3 minutes. And so just as a very brief refresher, you'll take your insight timer, you'll find a place at a time that's good for you. I find the mornings to be terrific to practice. Right now it is the morning. You'll find a place to sit, you'll take your timer, you'll set it for 3 minutes, you'll in a moment, as I will, press the start button, place the insight timer down. In 3 minutes it will remind you, and you can lift your gaze, open your eyes. But during those 3 minutes, you're to notice whatever it is that you notice. You can place your attention on the body and on breathing as an anchor, if you will, a primary object. But the mind will move. Thoughts will scatter, and when they do, you'll notice that at some point in time. And then you may remember the breathing, you may remember the body, but there's no right or wrong way to do this. You're simply to find that place to sit, set it for 3 minutes, push the timer, and then when the timer is done, to send me a note with your observations of your practice. So I'm setting the timer for 3 minutes, I'm pushing the start button, it's counting down, I'm placing it down. So that's the 3 minutes. And then when taking your insight timer and noting your observations, if I were doing that now, I would note things like, I noticed an ache in my back that came and went. I noticed an itch in my nose and a desire to scratch. I was aware of the sound of some cars outside. I heard a door open and close. I heard the sound of the pitter-patter of a dog's feet. I was aware of finding some of those things to be jarring and felt a little bit of a tension in the body when they arose, and I found others to be soothing. And I was also aware of moments where there wasn't a lot going on. And I was also aware at times of cataloging of the things that were taking place, with sort of perhaps the realization that I was going to be making note of some of those things. That's part of what my experience was as I recall it. There was nothing in particular that I needed to recall. Some of those things could have come and gone without my remembering it. Other things I'm sure were there that I forgot or weren't aware of enough to be able to give voice to. There's no right or wrong, and it could be longer or shorter. It's simply noting that which I noticed and observed and felt or sensed during those 3 minutes. That's the practice. You can't do it wrong. I hate to say it, but you really almost can't do it right. There is the doing of it. And I think much of life flows in that way as well. It's not the evaluative piece that we bring to it, but it's the showing up for it that matters. And this is a not easy practice. Even 3 minutes is not easy, for reasons that we'll discuss, but also for reasons we'll discuss, and for reasons that I think you'll find from your own direct experience. It can be quite rewarding, as many challenging things prove to be.